bit of checking. One of the things, one of the policies, like, would you consider thinking about for our veterans, for those who serve, for those of our police department, to where their taxation is the fact that they're giving their bodies to this country instead of having to pay taxes? None of these cities want to give them raises, so at least let them keep their money.
You know, I've never heard that before, and it's like a very interesting thing. It's the kind of thing you would think of, right? Because they have been treated so terribly.
It's going to take more than a hug. We need to, and here's the deal. If you're looking at serving in this country, in the military, or a police officer, or a firefighter, and you're young and you're coming up, and you don't have to pay taxes because you're paying it's almost an incentive to where we can get people interested.
And other countries do that, as you know.
Yeah.
Other countries do that.
Of course they do.
In spades. It's something I would think about. You know, it's something that nobody ever brought up. I've never heard it. It's interesting you're bringing it up. You're like my tax person there. But, I mean, something has to be done.
Yes.
And we have to attract
I think
people.
you're the president to do it.
Well, the military is now not attracting people. They're not going in. And I think it's because they don't respect the people at the top, the commanding officer. I mean, they're not, the commander-in-chief is not, I think you have to have, we were not having this problem 5 years ago. We have problems in the military right now. You know, the one thing I will say, though, and I tell the story, we really did a great job with our military. I rebuilt the military, right? And we got rid of ISIS. And I got to know them during this very short period of time. It was supposed to take 5 years. We did it in about a month. Remember that?
Yep.
And I got to know the real military, not these guys that are woke and that are like, you know, like, should I mention them? Yeah.
I think we get it with the woke.
No.
Yeah. I'm knowing, trust me.
With Millie and his statements.
Yes.
And I mean, look, I guess Mattis is a nice guy, but we have people in there that are much different. Not the people on television, the people that got rid of ISIS quickly. I was told it was going to take 5 years, and we did it in a matter of literal weeks. And I said, this is a great military. And by the way, they're not woke. You could never make them woke. These are guys, you will never, ever make them woke. But they did a great job. Great job.
Now, you brought us Space Force.
Yeah.
And now partnering with Elon Musk and stuff, I think we're going to have some great things. But one of the things I've been very critical of this administration is that I think we need to have a school force. We need to make our schools hard targets. And there's again, looking for employment for our servicemen when they come out. Because I feel like what's happening in our schools isn't a police thing, it's a military thing. Because they are trained to look for these signs and stuff. If we had military, not necessarily military, but they'll be coming over if we use social workers, military police, and we each.
So let me ask you this. So what about teachers that are in the military and they're teachers, they leave the military, they become history teachers, they become math teachers, and they're in the room and they get to know the students and they know how to use a gun. You can't have people that don't have any idea about what to do with guns. But people that were in the military, that are in the classroom, and they have access to guns, whether it's on them or in a little safe or something. You know, the problem is if it's in a safe, it takes a long time to get it, right? So, you know, but sometimes I think, and I've heard that and I've thought about it a lot, and in some ways I like that more than just having police standing someplace in the building. Do you like that idea? It would be a small percentage of the teachers, like 5%, but that would be much more than you would ever have with...
Anything is better than nothing. Our banks are safer than our schools, and our greatest investment are our kids. Yeah. So I have an issue with that. And here's the deal. I've learned a lot about this administration trying to get things done and talking to people. I speak with a lot of mayors and a lot of my travels and stuff. And this administration was supposed to be all about the environment and the Green New Deal and all that crap. But it's amazing. So
you notice how that stopped? I'm in the middle of a campaign, hopefully the end of a campaign, and it's going to be successful. But we're in a campaign. Nobody ever talks about the environment. They don't talk about it. They want clean air. They want clean water. This Green New scam is the worst thing that's ever happened. They're destroying the windmills all over the place. You fly over these gorgeous areas, you have windmills going all over.
You're not going to have any birds around, and the ones in the ocean are messing up the whales. Windmills were great back when we all had buggy whips and carts.
Yeah, they were much nicer then, actually. They were actually much nicer. No, when you think of what they've done, though, with all of the money that they spent, trillions and trillions of dollars, China does nothing, by the way, just so you understand. You
No,
know,
China, India, absolutely
no,
not.
they don't do anything. And by the way, that flies right over our country. You do understand.
Yeah.
Those winds, 4.5 days, it's over. So here we are. It costs us twice to make a product, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And we're trying to keep everything nice and clean. But the wind's flying in from China, India, and every place else. It's crazy, isn't it?
Well, one of the things, the EP, okay, one of the things that I was, because living in Louisiana, we have a horrible problem with sewage and
Yeah.
water overfills and things like that. And the budget for, these mayors have this budget for the sewage. But yet nothing's ever done, right? These engineers and their plans are based off how much money they get opposed to solving the problem.
Right.
So Mike Rowe told me about a company.
Good guy.
Oh, yeah, Mike, let me put my glasses on. I want to get this right. It was,
I can't believe you wear glasses, huh?
50. Sewage Century, right? Brad Colbert, I believe you knew his father
Yep.
on the Texas Rangers.
Yep.
So they came up with this little tiny invention. It's like this, like a mushroom, a little ball in it. And when you put it in the manholes, it separates the gas, and the little ball comes up, and the water can't come out the manhole. So the sewage water doesn't spill into overflows. It costs $0.25. You don't need a committee for it. You just put them in. I think one city was like $250,000 opposed to the $20 million they spent, and it pays for itself in a year, and it's done. So here I am in Louisiana, go, oh, this is great, and we have to form a committee. We have to do this.
Well, you have a great new governor in Louisiana. I bet you he'd take a look at it because your new governor, a Republican,
Yeah.
is he was the attorney general. Now he's a governor. So if you give me that, I'll send it to him. Okay.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Sounds good, right?
Yeah,
Why is that something? I mean, it's a big problem, and
it's a problem everywhere. Our drinking water, the fluoride in it, we're seeing, and then now we're seeing sewage, and it's a lot of
that
autoimmune
is not-
diseases are happening with our kids.
If you give me, I will send it, and I'll bet you get action.
I moved. One, because my daughter's an equestrian now, and I had to move to New Jersey. But we eventually had to move because not only that, what we're seeing with the hurricane storms, the insurance companies jacking it up. Now, I'm blessed to make a good living, but I'm not paying $300,000 a year in house taxes. So I made
Insurance is one of the biggest increases, and it's happened in the last 4 years. People are going crazy with the insurance costs. And I say, what about self-insurance? Sometimes people are better off with self-insurance. They can't afford the insurance. And then the problem is when you need the insurance, they don't want to pay. And they negotiate, right? They say, we're not going to pay you. And you end up getting 5 cents on the dollar. It's
Exactly,
a problem. It's a real problem.
And, I know you have a million things to do, but father to the grandfather, I would like to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I made a mistake with my child, my daughter, when she wanted to get an equestrian. I was supposed to tell her she was allergic. I didn't do that to horses because it's expensive. It's unbelievable. And you guys talked a lot about it. Now, my daughter's now going to Wilmington, Florida to compete.
Okay.
And I had to move the horses down there.
So she's very good, right?
Very good. Like I'm in.
That's good.
I'm in.
Good.
Yeah. After this is over, I'll be sweeping this place up.
Good.
Every extra dollar.
Good.
But your granddaughters and your family, do they ride horses as well? They do equestrian?
Not too much. They like it. They do it maybe a little bit, but not like your daughter. No, your daughter's supposed to be very, like you, a talented athlete, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can see it. Now I've heard that.
Yeah. My son plays baseball at the travel league. So I'm the GM. The way I look at it, if you're the first one in, last one to leave, daddy invests. Right. I just forgot to put
The
a salary
baseball's
cap.
the
little
baseball's
cheaper.
A little bit less.
It never ends though.
It
never
ends.
No. But we're going to be in Wilmington. How far is Wilmington from Mar-a-Lago?
So Wilmington is about 20 minutes away.
Can I get a group rate?
Yes, you're going to come over. We're going to have dinner with your daughter and your family, your wife. We're going to come over and have dinner. But do you mean Wellington or Wilmington?
Wilmington. I say it wrong because I just paid to have the horses moved, so it's a little traumatic for me.
It could be, but it's either one's about 20, 25 minutes to come over. I'd love to have you on.
Thank you, sir.
No, but you're a terrific guy. Look, it's that show has caught on, and the whole group is great. But I've always watched you. You always were defending me, and a lot of people don't defend me, and I like people that defend me because I think I'm doing the right thing. And we have a lot of bad people in our country, We have a lot of people that you almost say they must hate our country because what they do is so bad for our country. But I just have always...
Well, I'm not allergic to straight talk.
Yeah.
And every man of consequence that I learned from in my life never bullshitted nothing with me. Whether it was Dusty Rhodes, whether it was my football coaches, whether it was anybody I was with, they always told it to me straight, even when I didn't like what I wanted to hear, because I always believed everybody can handle bad news and good news, but no news and bullshit. Don't piss down my back, as my grandmother used to say, and tell me it's rain. And that's one thing that you have never done. You always, if you don't want to hear it, because the American people can accept bad news. Because when we know how bad it is, then we can look forward to getting it better. And that's, in this age of endorsements, that's why you have my endorsement, Mr. President. You can take that, a cup of coffee, and do whatever you want with it.
It means a lot to me. It does. But, I think this is going to be the most important election in the history of our country.
I agree.
Because our country is going bad. I hate to say, I wouldn't do this with just politics. Our country is going bad. The things we do. I mean, men playing in women's sports, okay?
Absolutely not.
It's crazy. And let's not say it's the most important, but it's just crazy, the whole concept. Having no borders, having elections where you're not allowed to ask somebody whether or not they happen to live in the country. Just anybody can walk in.
Yeah.
It's really wacky, and we're going to get it changed, Tyrus.
I believe that. Well, now, I have to ask this because you love sports almost as I do, especially boxing.
Yeah, I do. I love.
And
I love it.
Do you miss not being able to do all that stuff? Because like WrestleMania 4 and 5, part of my childhood, inspired me to end up becoming a wrestler. I thank you, Gutfeld, for that.
I did that. I'm in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes, you are.
And Dana is a good friend of mine with UFC. What a job he's done, right? Dana White is incredible. He's like an incredible guy. And, I was always involved. And I remember in those days, Hulk is a great guy, you have to say. Yeah. He was great. Right?
And when he ripped his shirt off, and now listen, I was a Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff guy, but I got it. But I think that was a great moment. And so you're very quick, and you can talk trash with the best of them. Yeah. Who was the biggest influence? Was it Don King or Muhammad Ali? Because your style is like